And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. The phones are jammed this morning, and I'll be taking your call soon. But first, GMC and Wilson Sporting Goods engineers are teaming up to explain the importance of aerodynamics on the road and out on the football field. So you might wonder, what do a football and an SUV have in common? Well, both rely on exceptional aerodynamics to perform to their fullest. And the GMC Terrain and Wilson Leather NFL game footballs, respectively, are perfect examples. With the Super Bowl coming next week, folks, I thought that you might be interested and enjoy an insight into the parallel. On the hotline with me now are Alicia Bidwell, GMC Aerodynamic Engineer, and Daniel Hare, Aerodynamic Research Engineer, Advanced Innovation, Wilson Sporting Goods. This is really going to be interesting. Alicia and Daniel, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hey, good morning.
Thank you for having us.
This is a very interesting between the football and an automobile. So, Alicia, I'll start with you. When it comes to engineering design, share with Car Clinic listeners and viewers the common elements that your industry share.
So basically from an aerodynamic standpoint on the car, we want to try to make the airflow as smoothly as possible around the car, trying not to create any separation or turbulence. Basically, the easiest we can get the car to push through the air, the better. That will allow our customers to see higher fuel economy numbers, so less money for them to spend at the pump. So we try to do this by making as many smooth surfaces as possible, minimizing gaps, things like that, and adding some extra devices to try to help guide the air the best we can down the car, underneath it, and around the sides as well.
So, Alicia, just a 30,000-foot view, how today the design, you mentioned the gaps, what other little small traces or elements or changes in the curves of the GMC vehicles and elements that have evolved as compared to, say, 5 years ago?
So we put a lot of emphasis on trying to keep the styling as bold as possible for GMC, but also providing that performance that our customers want. So we've done things like adding air dams and tire spats in front of the front tires to help guide the air better underneath the car so that it doesn't get trapped up into the chassis components and keeps that smoother air flowing back to the rear of the car. Some of those things are more prevalent now than they were, 5-10 years ago. Also, our vehicles have what they call the aero shutters. So when your engine doesn't need all that extra cooling airflow, it'll block that air and it'll actually allow it to go around the car instead of through the engine compartment, adding more drag.
It makes a lot of sense. We're talking with Alicia Bidwell, GMC Aerodynamic Engineer, and then Daniel Hare is on the line with us now as well. He is the Aerodynamics Research Engineer, Advanced Innovation for Wilson Sporting Goods. Daniel, much like automotive design, aerodynamic engineering is critical out on the football field. How does your team work to develop a football that cuts through the air?
Absolutely. We do a lot of research when it comes to wind tunnel testing, computational fluid dynamics, also known as CFD. We also do infield testing and motion capture systems. So we want to see the ball in its real environment out there on the field, quarterbacks throwing, wide receivers catching, and get a feel for how the ball actually behaves. So we can make tweaks to the designs to kind of feature on laces, valves, the pebbling, the shape of the ball itself, and kind of tweak aspects here and there, and then do comparative testing and try to aim for as much improvement as possible.
So that begs a question. There has to be a specification in college, and of course, first, is a football for collegiate use and NFL the same?
No, they're not. The rules dictate a little bit differently between the two different models. Traditionally, the collegiate and the NFL, the collegiate and the high school ball tend to be slightly smaller in a small circumference, or a little bit skinnier in the hand, whereas the NFL ball is a little more full, as dictated by the rules. So
Daniel, then your team, when you talk about fluid dynamics, your team adjusts or changes the surface of the football and can still fall under the specifications of the league?
Absolutely. That's the name of the game. That's where within our team, comparing to the rules, what's allowed, and then we try to strive for the most amount of improvement. So anything that we can tweak as far as what's dictated is kind of fair game. There is no technical upper limit for performance as you would possibly see in golf or maybe tennis or something like that. So it's kind of a wide open field as long as you fall within the lines of a football is a football. So that's kind of our goal is from our engineering team. I
find that very interesting. And folks, just think about it. And in fact, we have the Super Bowl coming up. So when you think about the football, being thrown 40, 50 yards or even more, certainly the smoother the pass and the powerful and gliding through the air is all important. And then you think about driving your GMC vehicle and the amount of horsepower and or gas mileage that would be increased by having a smooth vehicle that runs through the air. I can see the correlation. I guess my final question that would be, Alicia, for you first, and then Daniel, I want your input as well. We have the big matchup coming in the Super Bowl. So any predictions, Alicia?
Well, I'm not going to try to predict anything, but being from Michigan, I do support Tom Brady, so we'll see how he does in yet again another Super Bowl.
He is absolutely over the top, and Daniel, I have to ask you the same question.
We're excited for the big game to get here. It's been a long, fun season, and Wilson is excited for the two best teams to be represented, and we're excited for it.
And last but not least, for our Car Clinic listeners and viewers, a website from you, Alicia, for all the GMC vehicles?
Yeah, so just GMC.com. You can go and check out all the lineup of GMC vehicles on that. And
Daniel, for Wilson?
It'll be Wilson.com, and you can find our full lineup of footballs as well as all of our sports.
Well, I sure thank you. It's very interesting to bring this information forward, and we all look forward to the game. And folks, when you're watching Brady throw that ball, you just think about Wilson. And when you're going to go to the football game, you're thinking about getting a new GMC that will smoothly get you through to the game. Daniel Hare, Alicia Bidwell from Wilson and from GM Assembly, I thank you for your time. It was fun, and I'd love to have you back on the air. Thanks for coming on Car Clinic today.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.